Do. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope we always do. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We got a topic we're going to talk about this morning. Good morning, Clint. We got a topic we're going to talk about this morning, but before we do that, there's a couple of things, pieces of business I got to take care of, and I got to say, this young lady right here, she's an absolute gem. This young lady right here, a diamond and all that good stuff, gold, platinum, and all that good stuff. This is my sister from another brother, but from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Wow Ministries. Cassandra Ring. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How is everyone doing?
Hey, doing well, doing well. Cassandra, I got a concern. And I know that you could help me with this concern that I have. I was listening to the radio this morning on the way in here, and they was talking. It's an award show. I can't think of the name of the award show right now. It's not the Grammys or nothing like that, but it was an award show that they're actually pulling back on, and they say they want to stop doing it right now because it's not all inclusive and it's not including everybody. And it was a Steve Harvey show this morning that actually what he was talking about this, and I don't agree with everything Steve say, but I gotta agree with him this time. Why should we care about that? Why should we as a people, why should we care about that? Because and he made the point, we have been excluded out of everything all this time. Now all of a sudden now nobody ever want to boycott or pull back on anything when we was excluded. They never wanted to do that. But now that they saying that everybody else is not being included, everybody else. They're not saying anything about us now. Everybody else is being excluded. They want to pull back on the award. It almost came to me. It's gonna come to me in a minute which one it was. But because Andrew, how concerned are you? MTV, even MTV for a long time would not allow us the Grammys and all that stuff for a long time. We were not included. We were not inclusive in those things, in those events. And there was not an issue. So why should we care now when they're saying everybody else is being able to is having to eat from the same table that we've been eating on for years?
Yeah, I've never agreed with that. I believe that as people, we should have our own stuff going on,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feel any kind of way about not being included in some of these things because if we do our own thing, we don't have to worry about being included in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They will never fully recognize, even with the Emmys and different things. There are amazing black productions
Mm-hmm.
that never get recognized
Yep.
and will never get recognized.
Mm-hmm.
So why not do our own? If we want to do that, do our own shows for different and award shows for different things and honor our own people. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm not upset. I don't care.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should do our own
Mm-hmm.
and let them continue. If they include you, they include you, but don't sit around and wait for them to recognize us because it's not going to happen.
It's not gonna happen. And that's the point that Steve was making this morning. Like I said, I don't agree with everything he said, but I agree with him 100% this morning, man. He even went so far to say, man, we had to go out there in order to get our product out there. They had to start BET. They had to start BET just to get our product out there because nobody else was recognizing us for what we did. And we
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you something. The way I see it, and I could be a little biased here, and I might be being biased, but I think we're the pinnacle when it comes to all this stuff, fashion, entertainment, all this stuff. We are the pinnacle. We're the top of the chain. But yet and still they don't
We
want.
are.
But yet and still they don't want to recognize us. But they so quick to want to steal what we do. They quick to want to steal what we
Yeah.
do now. They'll steal it.
And this is the thing. This is the thing. we are some, when we get into anything that we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
we are some of the best at everything that we decide we want to get involved in. We are
Exactly.
at the top of the chain,
Mm-hmm.
and you're right. They are not going to recognize us, but so much. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to know that, and that's why it's important for us to do our own thing, to
Exactly.
show, to have our own shows, to have our
Mm-hmm.
own uh, uh, fashion lines, to have our
Mm-hmm.
own. And this is what really upsets me with our people. We will go and buy Versace and all these
Mm-hmm.
other people, but there are black designers that will make Versace and whoever else look sick.
Exactly. Exactly.
There are people that design Michael Kors will make look sick,
Mm-hmm.
but we will go and spend the money for their stuff, but won't go and spend it within our own communities and with our own people. That is a huge fault of ours. Even if
Mm-hmm.
we want an attorney, we don't even think about half the time getting a black attorney.
No.
Well,
No.
I'm getting a Jewish attorney. I'm getting a, what is wrong with that? There's
Mm-hmm.
something mentally wrong
Mm-hmm.
with us when we do that.
And my thing is, and this is something that Farrakhan said a long time ago. This years ago. He said, "Look here, how you going to expect for them to represent you well when they don't even care for you? They don't care for you. But you're gonna go to them, you're gonna go and get all these attorneys that you spoke of, Caucasian, Jewish, or whatever. You're gonna go and get them to represent you in a case that's supposed to be a black case, and you want them to represent you well, but they don't even see you favorably. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. Get somebody that's been through the same situation, the same struggles that you've been through, and build it from that point. Allow them to represent you and give them an opportunity, give them the chance to do it. What do you say to that, Cassandra? Am I wrong?
No, I totally agree. Our lawyers, in fact, our people work harder at getting everything that they get than
Mm-hmm.
everybody else
Mm-hmm.
because they are looked on unfavorably. So they give them a harder time
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. Come on
Yes.
now.
Mm-hmm.
When a black kid goes to medical school, they have to prove themselves. Everything we do,
Mm-hmm.
we have to prove ourselves or
Yep.
work harder than
Mm-hmm.
everybody else. So why not? Once they have reached that pinnacle where they've got their doctorates, whatever it is, why not show our own people that, hey, I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
You've done this. You worked hard at building your business. You worked hard at the, because think about it. When even when we want businesses, it's hard for us to get small business
Yeah.
loans.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Small
Mm-hmm.
business loans. I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
talking about if you're trying to do something on a large scale. I'm talking about just to get a small business
Mm-hmm.
loan. It's
Mm-hmm.
hell.
Exactly.
Now, the one thing I will give, and I will give that has happened during the pandemic, there were black people all around this country that started businesses that they have wanted to start for years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the different loans and stuff were put out there where they could go and get the money to at least start their business.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Let me go to and you said something. We got another call. We're gonna go to the call in just 1 second. So call them, great to come to you. But I gotta stay right here with Cassandra just for a minute. You said that once we get into something, we take it to a whole different level. And
Oh yeah.
if anybody have an issue with that, or with that being you don't believe that to be true, let's deal with Tiger. Let's deal with the Williams sisters. You know,
Okay.
for a long time, and with the tennis situation, for a long time, we didn't see us in tennis. Tennis didn't look like us at all.
Mm-mm.
Tennis didn't look like us.
Mm-mm.
But when the Williams sisters
Mm-mm.
came in,
There are some black sisters back from the, I believe they were in the 40s or 50s. I don't know their name, but they were sisters that was killing tennis, and we never even heard about them. They were beating everybody.
exactly,
They were
exactly.
beating everybody.
Hmm. And
So yes, when we get into something, even when it's in certain business areas, we take it to a whole nother level.
hmm
But we're not getting the opportunities like we should.
exactly, exactly. And there's and truth of the matter, there was a few. There was I know Althea Gibson. She was back in the day as well. Althea Gibson. She
Hmm.
was a people. A lot of
Hmm.
people don't take the time to even know who she was, but she was a man. She was a great,
Yeah.
yeah. Althea
Yeah.
Gibson. Yeah, she was something serious. Donna Toussaint. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
doing the best I can with what I got.
You're doing good. You're doing good, brother. You're doing good. We talking about,
What
man.
he got? What he got? What he got? What he got?
Big mouth, big mouth, big mouth, big mouth.
We talking this morning, Tucson, about there's an award show, and it's gonna come to me in a minute. It escapes me right now, but they're saying they're gonna hold off on that particular award show because they don't feel like it's being inclusive. Everybody is being inclusive, and we're talking about how can they say something like that, Tucson, when we as a people have not been included for years. You talk about the Grammys, you talk about the Oscars. The Oscars, man, it has been so one-sided for so long, man. It's crazy. The Oscars and all the other shows. MTV, when they really came out, man, we wasn't represented. The first one represented us on MTV was Michael Jackson. That was the first one that's the first black to be on MTV. So they're talking about this inclusive stuff, because everybody's not inclusive. Now why should we care when they have to come and eat from the same table that we've been eating from forever? Tucson, talk to me.
Well, they never, some will never accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I mean, never. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, really, you're not included.
Yeah.
As far as they're concerned, just wake up and smell the coffee. You
Mm-hmm.
will never be recognized, or uh, you don't size up
Mm-hmm.
to to their standard, whatever they have set up for them,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not set up. You're not included, and the standards are not for you.
Mm.
Just like the for instance, we never was in welcome in initially tennis,
Yeah. Yeah.
golf.
Come on.
You had to be very, just you just had to just be able to be an exception,
Mm-hmm.
except not only exceptional, you had to be an exception.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take for the Olympics. We weren't invited to that, really.
No.
Baseball, you
Mm-hmm.
weren't. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
that's not your sport. Go
Mm-hmm.
out there and work in the field.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you belong. You're a worker. Go. Uh, you can be. You can go clean the bathrooms.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
I mean, you can mow the grass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can clean up after us.
Mm-hmm.
Pass me your towel. I don't know if they were ever even allowed to be caddies in golf.
Not for a long time.
So
Mm-hmm.
no, no. I mean, you got these rich Caucasian people
Mm-hmm.
that that came up with the idea. That they was just great at what they do
Mm-hmm.
till one till somebody like Joe Louis came up and knocked them out.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then remember when I remember when I guess it was Ali. They didn't know what to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was he great at what he did, but he ran his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
He was a spokesman, and he stood for something. And then they thought they had it. I don't know if he was there or it was Holyfield or it was always a. And then they finally came up with somebody they thought was pretty good, and they had their great. Remember what they called him? The Great White
The
Hope,
Great White Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Cooney.
And he got knocked
They
out.
really thought, now slap out
Mm-hmm.
again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, over and over again, they had runners that, I mean, they was thought they was fast. They
Yeah.
had baseball players, but then you had a Hank Aaron coming on,
Mm-hmm.
and they was like, I beat doggone. We're not superior.
No. 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 No.
And then you had Tiger Woods come out there And it wasn't not Tyreek Woods wasn't the first one. But when he came up, they didn't know what to do with him.
No, had no idea.
So they did though, and I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm not. This is not a racist comment now, but this is what they do. They put one of them old girls in front of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll stop right there.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Brother Pete. Pete told me earlier his earpiece is acting up a little bit, so he may be having some issues with his earpiece. So we'll come right back to Pete in just 1 second. Cassandra, talk to me, sis. What's on your heart?
Yeah, uh, I don't know. I just wish that we would focus more on doing our own thing, making our own way, you know, celebrating our own businesses. We will support everybody, the Koreans, their hair. So what the heck they know about black hair?
Nothing.
But they know what we want, and they are killing it. They make millions and millions of dollars.
Yep.
Some of them in our neighborhoods a year. And you get a black person to start a little, mom and pop, and you can't even get black people to go in.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense to me. We have to do better. We have to support our own. And like I was saying, there are designers that I know right here in Atlanta that will kill anything that I've seen. The big name, as they say, people, Tommy and all these people put out. There's a black guy here, Daryl Heppard, that has a shoe line. One of the few black shoe. He's one of two, I think, in Georgia, and he's right here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it's hard for him to get, and he gets his shoes made the same place Nike and all these other people are getting their stuff made. Same quality, same materials, and can't get our folk to support.
Exactly. And I
got to do better.
And see, I would really love to talk to him, Cassandra. I know you can make it happen if you can. If you can, make that happen for me, because I'm gonna see what I can do to help him out, man. Because we got the situation right now called Spotlighting Georgia. And what Spotlighting Georgia does, it actually highlight different businesses like that and put them out there so people can actually see what's going on. It's like almost like a community where we come together and build each other, acknowledge each other, and support each other. That's what it is.
Yeah, I love his sneakers. I have two pairs of his sneakers, and I love them. I love them.
Exactly. Good. Yeah. And so there's a lot going on. There's a lot of businesses out there, man. But for some reason, we've been tricked. We've been tricked into thinking they sugar sweeter. They water just a little. They water just a little bit wetter. I got to go over there and get that water. That water is wetter. And we've been they salt is look, watch this. They salt is saltier, if there's such a word.
Oh yeah.
And so we've been tricked. We've really been tricked. But we need to come together, man. And I think conversations and people like us, we need to get out there and let people know. Hold on, man. Why are you buying that? Jimmy got the same thing. Go and see what Jimmy got.
Let me tell you what I do. I get, like, when I'm doing different events and stuff, I specifically seek out black people that design, to do like cups, or if I'm getting cups made, if I'm getting t-shirts done, I make sure I seek out black people to do what I need done, because that's the only way for us to make it better for our people.
Exactly. And see, and my thing is this right here, man. I can testify to that, because you come to, I do t-shirts and stuff like that. You come to me several times. Right here, we need t-shirts for this, we need t-shirts for that. And we made it happen. You know what I mean? And so I can I can testify that what you're saying is absolutely true. Brother Pete, are you with us, brother?
I'm trying to be. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir. We got you. Pete, what we're talking about this morning, brother, there's an award show. I can't think of what it is. It'll come to me hopefully in a little bit. But they're putting a halt on their production because they're saying that it's not inclusive. It's not all inclusive. We're not including everybody. But Pete, why should we care? There's a time when we weren't included in anything. Like I said, and I spoke about MTV for a long time. They wouldn't put out products on their thing. MTV on the first one was Michael Jackson. They put Michael Jackson on there because he was the best thing going at that particular time, so they had to. And you get, the Grammys, the Oscars. The Oscars has been one sided because Sandra, she's in that industry, and she could tell you how one sided the Oscar has been for years. And now they're saying they want us to feel a little compassion for them. They want us to feel sorry for them because they have to eat from the same table that we've been eating for a long time, forever. Pete, what do you say to that, man? How much compassion do you have for them in this inclusive situation? Thank you.
Listen, we're experiencing a culture clash, influence change of power or reset. It's a whole lot that's going on, and for the annals of history of this society, they have always co-opted your inventions, creations, ideas, concepts, movements, process, procedures, belief system, and made it work for them. And you allowed you to be the consumer.
Come on.
Keeping it going. Okay? And now you have technology at an all-time high, and individuals are striking out and realizing that they can do their own thing. The young people have a mindset today that basically a job is insignificant. It's only a means to whatever end you have immediately in the short term in front of you. There's no longevity in a job. When I listen to the young 17, 16, 18-year-olds, they have some real choice words that begin with F.
Yeah.
About a job. Okay? Just gonna tell you straight up.
Exactly.
So when you're talking about it being included, people are marking out to do their own thing, to do what's best for themselves, to do what's best in their mindset, their perspective, from their position, and with no regard to anything outside. Now, when we talk in commerce, that's a universal collective system. All can participate that are willing to participate, even if you donate something and you have to. That's commerce, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
But having an understanding of how commerce works and corralling your footprint in commerce has always been our challenge, right? And it seems that there's a strong consciousness and awareness of doing for self, having ownership, manufacturing, producing, no longer just going along to get along.
Exactly.
If we mark out and do our own thing, to acknowledge one another and appreciate and show love for one another and build each other up and strengthen our networks and our connections, that's our, with no apologies or explanations offered to nobody. At all.
Exactly.
Like you say, it's not a tit for tat thing, but when you're so busy taking care of your business, you don't have time to look around and see what's going on in other folks' business.
Come on.
So maybe we're developing this singular mind now to take care of our business. By the time you go run your errands, clean your house, cook the meals, see about the family, and take care of a few other little things that are relevant to you, there's no time left to worry about somebody else.
Exactly. And Toussaint got this thing. He said, he takes 6 months minding his own business and the other 6 months staying out of other people's business. Toussaint, talk to me, brother. How does that thing work?
That's it.
That's all I know how to do. Other than that, you ain't got no time for yourself. Because it brings on jealousy. You wind up with a mindset. You always try to be like the Jones. You never do stuff. So I ain't got time for that.
Exactly.
Why I gotta travel across town worrying about what somebody else doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Toussaint, I'm gonna ask you the question, man. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you the question. This whole situation, this whole integration, this what we integrated and all quote unquote came together for the better good of everybody, is what they try to tell you. Did that help or hurt us as a group collectively? Do you think that helped or hurt us?
You know, I think it did both to some.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I say it 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 helped in a sense
Mm-hmm.
is that it forced things that were not available.
Mm-hmm.
Make
Okay.
any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there were some things that were for them that we had an opportunity to get involved. But
Mm-hmm.
here's the kicker: um, we got hand-me-downs, even the books,
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
and then you got educated the way they wanted you with limitations. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain things that um, was in the books. It's not true.
Yeah. A lot of things in the books is not true. A lot.
You know, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
and see when everybody I remember in preschool, I was just in preschool or head start or whatever it was called at that
Mm-hmm.
time. But my older brothers and sisters were going to the school across the street from the house. Well, guess what? That was in the middle of integration.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They didn't want it
No. No. Cassandra, what do
there.
you?
Thing about
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Finish your thought, brother.
thing about that is that we get our eggs, our house eggs, and all that other stuff like that. Dad, my brother, my oldest brother, took it seriously when my dad said, "Well, you just take that shotgun and use it."
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he did. He come around the house, he just started shooting.
Mm.
So I mean, it helped in some sense, but then it let us know that you're not working.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good deal. Cassandra, what do you say to that?
Yes.
What do you say to that? Do you think integration did it help or hurt us as a community?
I think it did some, well, I think it did a lot of damage because remember, I remember when the stores in my neighborhood were black owned stores,
Mm-hmm.
um, little small mom and pop stores, but we didn't have to go to, and well, they didn't particularly want us in there, but we didn't have to go to a lot of the other stores. Um, we had to go to places like Woolworth when we, needed to buy low, stuff. But there were mom and pop places inside our community,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it sort of hurt us because it it squelched a lot of the ingenuity that I think that our people had, that they were making it work for ourselves. We were making it work for ourselves. And then we just got lazy and just bought everything from them. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
well, they got that already. We don't need to have
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
shoe store that's ours. We don't need to have a dress shop
Mm-hmm.
that's ours. And we just started going, to their spot. So I think it hurt us. I think we would have been a lot further if we had, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of ambiguous on that, so I'll leave it there.
Okay. Pete, what do you say about it, man? Did it help? Did it help or hurt us as a family, as a group, as a community? Did it help or hurt us?
From a position of us having collective power and ownership in business and controlling our footprint in commerce, it hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, allowing us to mingle out in the greater society and experience different things and on different levels and different degrees with different amenities, if you would, then it gave you some benefit. But see, that's the uniqueness of this experience over here in North America. The race narrative that is pushed in America has caused so much confusion and just a whole world of mess until it throws everything off. It makes you it set a tone that the society functioned in, and it's really under a false narrative. But it's for us as a people, right?
Yes.
Where are our businesses? Where are our banks? Where are our Fortune 500, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corporations that we own? Where's our manufacturing, our producing? So see, we lost a lot.
Yes.
But back. These folks will work so hard that they came up with ingenious ways to make the labor that they were forced to do easier. Where the masters co-opted the invention and took over the ownership of it, sold it or manufactured it and sold it, retained it, and built wealth off of it. Well, where's your wealth from your invention? So
exactly.
See, this integration thing was a blow to us as a people because it stifled our growth, it stifled our wealth, it stifled our production, it dumped education.
Wow.
Because when you have it for yourself, I would think that if you love yourself, you're going to want the absolute best and do your absolute best and put forth of your absolute full ability concerning yourself and those that you love. Now, when you go over to somebody that might not necessarily regard you like that, then you're going to get the way they feel through their performance, their interaction, the quality of the product, the house, the car, the transaction. See? So it hurt us in a lot of ways as well.
That's good. That's good. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, Raheem, in the Morning Glow family.
Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Slow.
Hey, you doing it, brother. You doing it, man. And I want to throw the question at you, brother. First, from where we start, I know you've been listening for a minute there. What do you think about this whole the award show saying they're gonna pull it back because it's not inclusive? Well, Leonard, you know that for a long time, man, and still today in some instances we're not included in a lot of things. So why should we feel bad because they're having to eat from the same table that we've been eating from for years?
Well, first of all, no one feels bad. That's one. It's not a matter of feeling bad. And
come on,
one, they have every right to do that. It's not so much as what has happened before, as in what is necessary now. You have the power to do that, so you use it. You didn't have power before. However, now when you notice 50% of your show is centered around African American talent.
Yep.
And if African American talent refuses to participate, then you have to negotiate. That's leverage and power. You don't feel bad about that. But what I do want to comment on, which is a big separation between Miss Cassandra and Pete, is the fact that one, I'm 50. I've never lived a segregated world. So I don't have a desire to. That's the issue. The issue has always been racism when you get down to it. You don't return to that. The reason why you didn't participate is because there was a law saying you couldn't. I have no desire to see a colors only water fountain. That's ignorant to me. That's ignorant to most younger people.
Well,
but there are some people that live through that time.
Well, there's a lot of people, truth, and I understand what you're saying, but truth of the matter, there's a lot of people that if they could go back to those times, they would without hesitation, they would love to go back to those times where it was so separated, where we couldn't drink from the same fountains, go in the front door, and go back to the slave mentality or the slave way of living. They would love that. There's a lot of people that would love that. Unfortunately,
the difference is choice. You had no choice before. And this is what we're trying to do, and why we have so many problems now. We're trying to correct that old way. Because it was foul. Racism, and segregation is foul.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care which way it goes.
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to disagree with. I'm not going to disagree with you at all when you say that. Absolutely, it is. But
right,
if you look at the numbers,
issues, and we call it de facto segregation.
Mm-hmm.
De facto segregation is as a result that no whites live in the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
then the school is going to be predominantly black because
Mm-hmm.
no whites live in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Not because someone wants to separate black and white. It's just a matter of fact.
But do you not agree with me when I say, or if I make the comment that there are some people that want to be separated, that have no desire to be amongst?
Don't separate yourself.
And that's what they do, and that's exactly what they do.
Yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
I have no problem with that because a lot of people do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
White folks real good at it.
Mm-hmm.
White folks real good at it.
Mm-hmm.
They go somewhere when they get tired of being around you. They go move somewhere where y'all ain't.
Mm-hmm. Mars or somewhere, Jupiter.
Right. They go find somewhere where y'all not.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all can go find and do whatever you want to do. Those who desire segregation. But young people don't desire segregation.
Mm-hmm. Cassandra, what do you say to that? Would you agree with me when I say that there's a certain percentage of our existence right now that don't want to be in, but that don't want to be included, that would love to go back to the blacks only water fountains and come in the back door and all the different things that they used to do back in the day?
No, I mean, actually, I agree with Leonard. I wouldn't want to go back to it. I'm just saying, I think for the time that when we did it, I think it was, we were doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing okay. And we talk about Black Wall Street, but there were many thriving Black communities, wealthy communities around this country, and they were good. Mm-hmm. And they had everything that they needed within their communities. I'm not saying that that's the way I would want it today.
Yes.
I want to see us have our own businesses, yes, and serving anybody and everybody. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I want to go back to colored only water fountains or anything like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we need more Black businesses. Mm-hmm. And I was just really quickly, I want to mention a few things that Black people invented that we don't even get acknowledged for, and things like caller ID, the mailbox, the electric, the elevators. I mean, it's so much stuff that we invented that people, the home security system, central heating and air, refrigerated trucks. Come on now. You never hear that a Black person invented a lot of this stuff.
No. Because
they make sure that people don't know. So they think we're still these dumb, sliding your foot across the floor Negroes. And that saddens me.
Exactly.
So no, I wouldn't want to go back to it by any means, but I'm just saying we could do it.
Mm-hmm. Cassandra, I don't know if I asked you the question or not, but did this integration, did it help or hurt us? I think I did ask you the question.
You asked me.
Okay, good deal. Good. I want to make sure I want to make sure I pose that to you. Tucson, what do you say to that? We got another caller. We're coming to you in just 1 second. Did it help or hurt us, Tucson? What were the pros and cons?
Again, you asked me, but then here's the thing about it is that we were better off when we were by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Better off. We had a tighter community. The theme was a motto for us was it takes a community to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
And we stuck to that.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't go down across the street, through the neighborhood, and somebody wouldn't say to me or my brothers and sisters, "Aren't you that Tucson boy?"
Mm-hmm.
They used to say that Tucson boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Come here.
Mm-hmm.
And they would everybody instructed everybody's child in the community because we was helping each other because it was all under attack.
Mm-hmm.
We would help each other. If the neighbor didn't have a cup of sugar or something to that effect, they say, go down to Miss Sarah's house, take this cup, and go get me a cup of sugar.
Yep.
We kill a livestock, and everybody eats.
Exactly.
So the community was tight. Now we developed the great American way, selfishness and greed and arrogance. That's the real American dream. To get me, my, and I. And when we did accomplish the mom and pop stores, and it started booming, and it started people realizing that people in our community supported each other. They would say, "Go burn that down."
Yep.
So when we was better, but they didn't like it. And then they had some of us. They say they'll go, and we had some in our community say, "Mr. Charlie, you know, them Tucson boys, they planting their own crop." And you'd be like, "What the?"
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You talking to me?
No. Hold on. I'm coming to you in just 1 second. Go ahead, Tucson. Finish your thought.
No, that's it. I mean, we sabotage we had some in the community that they were so terrified that they didn't have the mom and pop store. They wasn't planting the crop or stuff like that. So they was happy in the cane field or picking potatoes from Mr. Charlie. So they tell on you.
Yep. You stealing from Mr. Charlie. You know, you steal Mr. Charlie's money by doing this on your own. Certainly you can't do that.
Good. He treat us good.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, come on now.
Exactly. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Hey,
Tucson, what's going on, bro?
What we're talking about this morning, man. There's an award show. I can't think of what it was. You probably know what it is because you up on them award shows and things, man. But there was one that said they're going to pull back and not go into production because everything is not being inclusive with everybody. And we're supposed to feel a certain way when, Curtis, truth of the matter, we have not been inclusive in so long. We've not been included in so long. There was a long time where when MTV came out, man, they didn't play our music. The first one that was played was Michael Jackson because they had to play him because he was so popular at that time. Tennis, you look at the Oscars, the Grammys and all that stuff. For a long time, we were not included. So why should we feel bad when they say that everybody's not inclusive? We've been eating from this table from a long time, Curtis. What do you say to that, brother?
Well, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. That's what I say. You know, look, let's just call a spade here, right? The idea that you believe that opportunity has truly been inclusive for Black America tells me that you're a donkey. That's what you are. And I am drifting my life towards the old African proverb of the donkey and the tiger. You understand? And the proverb basically says that the donkey came up to the tiger and told the tiger, "Look, oh my God, the grass is blue and the sky is green." The tiger tells the donkey, "No, man, I don't think you're right about that, man. You know the grass is green, the sky is blue." The donkey argues him down. So the tiger said, "Well, let's go to the king, because you telling your people these lies, and I don't think that's going to be beneficial to your people. So let's go to the king, and when the king tell you, then maybe you'll believe what I'm saying." So they went to the king, and the tiger, this man is telling his people these lies. He's telling his people that the grass is blue and the sky is green, king. Oh, you know what I mean? Honorable, blah, blah, blah. You know, can you please inform him of what is true? The king reached his paw back and smacked the tiger to the ground, cut his whole face up. So when the king smacked the tiger to the ground, the donkey started, in an uproar. I told you I was right. I told you I was right. And the king told him, be off. So the donkey walked off. Bragging. He was right. So the tiger stands up to the king and say, King, sir, sire, why would you punish me in front of all these people, in front of this whole court, when you know that the grass is green and the sky is blue? You know what the king said to him?
What's that?
I didn't punish you because you was right. I punished you because you chose to argue with that jackass. The moral to the story is, it ain't no need in wasting your breath arguing with people who have an ideology or a false sense of reality, and it is strictly based off of a lie that you can point to. You can directly put your hands on it, and you can directly show any white supremacist, white nationalist, any black nationalist who calling in with that foolishness, with that what's her name? I forget her name, man. With that you know who I'm talking about. Candace
Owens, yeah.
You can distinctly point at certain times in history or certain situations that distinctly prove the point that you are making, Raheem, which is, hey man, I don't know what they talking about this inclusive thing, because we ain't been included.
Yeah.
We've been forgot about every time. Or just not, the look ain't even came our way. You know what I mean? We've been the service of the food, but ain't been allowed to sit at the table.
Exactly.
You serve the steak and eggs over here, but then you want me to go in the back room to eat cereal. Come on, man. Get in the clown car with that foolishness, man.
Absolutely.
So, I'm learning, Raheem, I know I'm over my 3 minutes, but I'm learning to gravitate my thought process and being towards not being a tiger to argue with this donkey.
That's good. Mary, good morning. How you doing this morning? Mary?
Salutations.
Salutations. Do you want to comment on this or when we come back to you later?
I can't comment on it at all.
Okay. Hold on. Stay right there. We're gonna come. We change the topic. We're gonna come right back to you. Rico, good morning. Okay. How you doing this morning?
Grand rising, everybody. How's everybody doing? Congratulations on receiving this day.
Yes, sir. Congratulations to you as well, sir. Having a good day, man. I'm asking a question. We're talking about the award show, and like I said, I'm gonna do some research to find out which one it is. I heard about it this morning, but they're having an issue because they're saying everybody's not being inclusive. Good morning, Julia. But my thing is this right here. Should we feel bad, Rico? Because there's been a long time where we've been eating at this table for a minute where we were included in a lot of things that was going on. Now that the ball is in the other court and they're starting to feel it, should we feel a certain way, Rico? How should we feel about that?
And somebody gonna have to mute, man.
Curtis.
More of them than you.
Curtis, mute your line, Kurt. There you go. Go ahead, Rico.
Say it again.
Should we feel bad because they talk about inclusive that they're gonna hold the show because they don't feel as though everybody is being inclusive? Rico, as a community, we've not been included in a whole lot of things for a whole lot of years. So should we feel bad now that they have to eat from the same table that we've been eating from for years?
Well, we should and then we shouldn't. It depends on what's the benefit in being recognized by this committee. If they call themselves the American Academy of Music or whatever, or whoever, the Grammys or whoever, and they're recognized nationwide or worldwide and respected as the authority of who rewards the greatest and the best of musicians, then yeah, you sort of want to be included in that and recognized if that is what is recognized around the world. But we do have to understand that with the way things are and the things that they do sort of value, it wouldn't exist if it wasn't for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to maybe go back and realize that we don't have to seek that recognition. We could just start our own.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop is a prime example. I mean, I can remember in high school, man, when they didn't even want to listen to hip hop beats just marching into the stadium. If you was
Exactly.
at a majority white school,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't want to hear that jungle music. That's what they
Mm-hmm.
call it, jungle music.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden, every commercial you turn on, every TV show got a hip hop commercial and a little jingle with a hip hop rhyme going in the background, and you got Megan Thee Stallion, what I'm saying, thoughting about hot sauce on chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, that black exploitation in commercials. I mean, but we want to be a part of that because it's so successful, and we value and we desire this thing that America has created. So now with that hip hop, at first it wasn't even recognized.
Mm-hmm.
And we realized how strong it was, but we didn't feel like we was getting respect because they didn't air who won the Grammy for hip hop during television hours. You
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
find out at the end when they scrolled through the credits who
Mm-hmm.
won all the awards that wasn't televised.
Exactly.
Then little by little, you start seeing hip hop being recognized. Now it probably was the same for other black music genres in the past, but this is the one that I saw with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Little by little, you start finding hip hop albums being nominated for album of the year.
Yep.
But at one point in time, the category it wasn't even televised.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is again. Somebody jumped on the bandwagon and said, "Hey, we need to include this hip hop thing because these black folks done did it again. They came up with rock and roll and country and R&B, and now they done came up with something else that we just gonna love and blow through the roof and make very profitable."
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna include hip hop now because the biggest thing they want is to be involved with what we got going on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it's really, I don't want to say that it's inevitable, but when you control or you have the power to dictate what is acceptable or what is recognized, sooner or later people will start conforming
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to accepting who you recognize as being famous or worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
Exactly.
or achieving certain things,
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you the second question I asked, man. Integration. Back in the day when integration took place, did that hurt or help us as a community?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Both. I mean, it gave us access, but at the same time, it made people start valuing the morals and the ethics.
Mm-hmm.
And they started valuing the morals and ethics of people that wanted to kill them and hang them and beat them and make sure they stay beneath them. Now you valuing the material possession and lifestyle of these same evil people that looked at you as less than human. Now look in our community. The more we gained what they considered success, the more we started looking down on each other, the more
Mm-hmm.
divided our community became.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a good thing and a bad thing. I come from one of those communities where not only did I see the population decline, but I've seen the economic structure and the infrastructure decline.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a documentary on it. And I just used some regular common sense and logic. Imagine a child walking by a fair or riding past Six Flags every day, and they see these people on these rides just screaming and waving their arms in the air,
Mm-hmm.
having a good old time.
Yes.
But somebody says you can't come in here because you black, or you can't come in here because you only 8 years, you're not over 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you could go to the one in your little kind of got the little merry-go-round and the swing set that gets super hot when the sun hits.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing mechanical. Everybody, you get enough people out there, they can push you around and you can have Six Flags fun on your little playground in your community. Then all of a sudden they open up the doors and say, well, yeah, not only can you come over here, but you can come every day.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner or later, you're going to bypass your little playground
Yep.
that did the job.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to go to Six Flags and you're going to ride that roller coaster as much as possible while your playground is steadily declining.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And so, yeah, and that's a perfect picture and what people can actually grasp as to what happened. Me, myself, I still think that it really hurt us a lot. I think it hurt us a lot, man. Were there some benefits to it? Absolutely. Well, absolutely. But as a whole, I think it really hurt us. Captain Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Not much. I understand what you're saying, but I don't know how old you are either.
Mm-hmm. We right there together.
Because that's a big deal. And this is why it doesn't work. And you will always have this dream until the day you die. Mm-hmm. Because that whole notion is dead. Mm-hmm. That's dead in the water.
Now, when you say, give me some clarity. Give me some clarity when you say that theory. Give me some clarity when you say that theory, brother. For the listeners, give me some clarity. What are we talking about?
Economic theory does not change because of the color of your skin. Mm-hmm. The reason why these change is because it became more profitable for business owners to make more money. If you only sold to black people, you're trying to tell me as a black businessman you wouldn't want white money from mm-hmm. white people? Mm-hmm. That's not rational mm-hmm. in a business world. Even the white people showed you what a failure it was, but a very simple fact is they were brought to their knees because of this. Mm-hmm. See, we have to remember, segregation was enforced by law. Mm-hmm. This wasn't something that people just woke up one day and decided to do. It was enforced by law, mm-hmm. connected to historical slave issues, which is why you had that system. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a positive thing at all. Mm-hmm. So this is why it does not work well today. It wouldn't work. Because black business owners have no desire to make just black people money.
Absolutely.
They need everybody's money. Mm-hmm. We talk about black this. You don't even address the economy of scale in terms of how much you would have to provide in an all-black economy. Mm-hmm. You couldn't meet the demand of the population. And then you would have to force the population to wear the same thing, eat the same thing, and just like that. Mm-hmm. People want diversity. Mm-hmm. You don't want to eat the same meal every day. I don't care who you are, what color the meal is.
Well, let me ask you this.
That's not the nature of human beings.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this question right here. And I can see where you're going with it. And I'm not going to say that I disagree with you, but I will say this. Do you think that once the integration came, and like Rico said, the example that he gave, I think was perfect, because what he's saying is once we became integrated, instead of going to the people and helping and supporting businesses in our community, we start opening up the door and going otherwise. And that is the time that it hurt the small mom and pop businesses and the people that was actually trying to make it and survive. It hurt them. Would you agree with that?
From a business standpoint, yes, because it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It makes complete economic sense. Mm-hmm. Because you're only serving such a small part of the community, you can't serve the entire community. Mm-hmm. See, that the economics of it is the fact that one, business wants to increase profits. It has nothing to do with the color of skin at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I was talking more along. I think I was talking more along the lines of the hurt and the crippling effect that it had on the black business.
Go somewhere and be hurt then. Go somewhere and be hurt. Mm-hmm. This ain't about being hurt. It's about money.
I get what Raheem's saying though.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
this.
Somebody else, and we forgot about morals and ethics. Well, why did you stop practicing your moral and ethics? Mm-hmm. Because you were immoral and unethical and just as sinful. That's why you stopped doing what you were doing. Had nothing to do with white folks.
No, now to see that we put a lot of different ingredients in the soup right now. I'm talking about from an economic standpoint and the effect that it had once we was able to integrate, because now we have the ability. We could go out and, like I said earlier, sometime in some situations, people think that their sugar is sweeter than ours. They think their water is wetter than ours, and so they're gonna drive 10 miles out of their way when Mr. Jimmy got a store right there. Which turn the corner.
Exactly. Right. Can I say something right here?
Yes. Go ahead, Rico.
Let me say something like this. Mm-hmm. This is what I see. I know this is what happened. When it allowed for us to enter into their businesses, those that the kids walk by all the time and they wonder what it was like, and then they saw everybody having fun, that increased the profits for the white community. They said, okay, now y'all can shop with us. But the white community didn't come back and shop in the black community because they knew that it would benefit the black community. So it was a lose-lose for the black businesses because the trade-off didn't happen. Our dollar started going into the white community stores, but the white dollar didn't start coming to the black community stores unless they was coming to buy some bootlegger or some dope or to come and creep with one of these women that they hadn't had sex until they had one from a black woman. That was the only thing that was the trade-off, and there wasn't no legal money or no taxes involved in that. So the communities couldn't grow. The communities, my community, started leaning more toward the place where you could go get the dope and get all the illegal things that you needed. And it was like this before I was even born. Same thing. This black town that fought and struggled to become incorporated and become the third black city in the United States still was relegated. The more rights they got, the more it started being labeled the spot to go and have your illicit behavior. And that's when you seen the white folks coming in, or they were coming to recruit people to play baseball and basketball. But economically, nobody white started participating or patronizing the stores in the community. So they lost that black dollar. But the black dollar went right across the tracks into them white stores, and they made more for them. So it was profitable, even though they still didn't want to live by us, and they knew we could never afford to because they didn't come back to our community and get their hair done. They didn't come back into our community. I mean, we think segregation was still having the same books that they had. Our schools didn't have the books they had. They had the leftover books from 10 or 12 years ago. Our stores didn't have the same quality products or access, and if they did, they paid more. So it still was a struggle because the segregation actually it made things harder or more inaccessible. So when people start glorifying that segregation thing, they got to understand that still was a lower standard or a lower quality that you had to accept and conform to if you wanted to be segregated.
Exactly.
Or if you even lived in segregation, you still had to settle for less. So it wasn't all peaches and cream just because we didn't have to deal with them. We made our own. We made the best out of what we could have, but we didn't have the best of the best. We didn't have access. So integration allowed us access to some of the best materials and quality education. The newer books, not books that were outdated and formulas and science and everything had been changed and more truth was brought out. Because in some old history books and some old education books, you'll see some stuff now that it wasn't true. It's not true, but back then it was true. So misinformation, I guess.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's what we have to look at with that segregation thing. You know what I'm saying? There still was nothing good about it when you think about we didn't have the same quality of access to products and all kind of different things, quality of life, education. There's so many different things that our stores didn't have access to that the white stores had. So people wanted to go to those white stores to get the better quality material. The cotton that slaves picked, some black people didn't have quality products from that same cotton. So they had to go to white stores to get the better fabric material if they could afford it.
If they could afford it. Absolutely. If they could afford it. Brother Pete, before we say, Pete, you still with us?
Yes, sir.
Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy birthday to you. That's my song for the day. But brother, what are you hearing right now, man? Are we on to something, or are we off base? Is the train off the track?
No, we on point and see what we should articulate. From my perspective, what is needed from us is full comprehension. Okay, history, and all of that. But we have to understand what has been done, and then also always identify your personal responsibility and your collective responsibility. Yes, we've had the kitchen sink, the refrigerator, and the entire building with the plumbing in the sewer thrown at us. The sky has fallen on us, okay? And the earth has opened up to feed and consume us. Absolutely. Everything that could be done, that you could imagine, has been done. But yet we still here.
Yes.
But yet we're still here. We're still here. So
putting our hand to the plow, focusing on what we can do to improve our situation and our collective situation. That's our responsibility. In spite of, identify all the obstacles, resist them, confront them, challenge them, all of that. But at the same time, we have to keep our hands steady. We stop being steady. We start letting the blows and the intimidation and the grief and the fear cripple us from still moving, still advancing. Now we still moving and advancing in many ways. And then like my dear brother Leonard was saying, we want to understand commerce, the concept of commerce. It's a vacuum sucking in currency.
Yeah.
That's all commerce is. You're trying to suck in as much as you turn the vacuum on hot. We need another vacuum. We need two more. We're trying to suck as much as possible. That's what commerce is.
Yeah.
We just want to participate in commerce, where we have the intelligence to support our own inside of commerce first, and that's your individual collective mindset, and then your responsibility. But this is where we have to collectively understand these things.
Exactly.
So we have to stay on the move consistently. We have to challenge and talk and counsel one another along these lines constantly. See, don't just look at the problem and talk amongst yourselves about the problem. Address it. Do something about it. Once you see it's a problem, it just became your responsibility to address it. That's how that works.
Exactly.
Don't wait for Jesse Jackson to do it. Don't call Al Sharpton. What you gonna do?
Yep.
All Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Do they matter to you? Because how many Black lives you seen today destroyed, ragged, torn up, that you may have been able to give just a positive word and could have changed the trajectory of their day? Have you stopped to give a 50 cent, give a can of soup, some hot coffee, or, some instruction, some guidance, something to think about, or bought a book and dropped it off? I mean, what are you doing to improve the situation other than running your mouth?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, if we're not all on that, then we will continue to get what we get. Yes, they co-opt everything that we do. So then we got to stop allowing what we do to be co-opted by anybody other than ourselves. That's on us. 508. You don't have to make this disrespect or denigrated music.
Exactly.
I don't listen to it. I don't want to hear it. So I mean, why we allowing them to play it? Well, it's what they want to hear, and I'm trying to get. Look, dude, I don't care who you are, big superstar, top, whoever. You ain't coming over here playing that best. How come we ain't out in front of the auditorium saying no? You ain't gonna play that here. You better not sing that song.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Badger, good morning, Badger. How you doing this morning?
It's a beautiful day.
Yes, sir. You've been listening in. Had you listened in for a minute, brother? What's on your heart right now?
I'm trying to understand where everybody's coming from. What was the original question?
Well, we're talking about inclusivity. That's a word. I guess that's a word.
Inclusion.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What's that mean?
Try to be fancy with it. Try to be included. Being included.
Being included.
And where we started was there's an award show. There's an award show that was actually they say they're gonna hold the production or whatever because they don't feel as though everybody is being included. Everybody's being inclusive in the award show, where our community has been excluded from everything for so long, and so we can't sit here and say that we feel a certain way because of that. Because now only thing you're doing now, you're having to eat from the table that we've been eating from for years. So why should we feel bad now that you have to sit at our table?
Wait, people are upset because they're having to wait to make sure everyone else is showing up?
They're saying everything is not being included. Everybody's not being included in the whole process. And
okay. So just curiosity question. If they're starting to do things like that to make sure everyone's included, why is that a bad thing to begin with if that's what everyone's been trying to fight for quite a while?
Okay, my thing is
thank you, Badger.
My thing is this right here, and that's a very good point. But my thing is this right here. What I'm looking at is you're arguing an argument that we've been arguing for years. So why didn't you hear us when we was arguing this 15, 20, 30, or 40 years ago? You didn't hear that it wasn't an issue then.
Okay.
When we were saying that this was going on, if take what you just said, if that would be beautiful had they listened to us 50 years ago. And we
It'd been
and
beautiful
don't
if
wait
they
till now
listened to my.
when it affect you. Don't wait till now when it affect you in a certain way, and you didn't hear us when it was affecting us. There can't be a
Yeah,
double standard.
but it would have worked. When my native brothers and my Native American ancestors told them when the Europeans first got here.
But it didn't, because it didn't
So
affect them. Exactly. That's my point. Exactly.
well,
Because they didn't
it
want to
did
hear.
affect them because they had to learn how to farm the land that was here because they were going to die if they didn't.
No, you said that if they listened to your ancestors back in the day, I said they did not listen to your ancestors back in the day, and that's why I was in the situation that it was in. They didn't listen because it did not affect them. It didn't have any bearing on them at all. Had they listened, you're absolutely right. You're right in what you said. Had they listened, but they did not.
So pretty much, okay. Oh man, now that I understand the context, I'm very confused. If the whole thing about what a lot of us have been trying to fight for is to start pushing for equal rights across the board, why in on creation, I almost started cussing, sorry, um are people getting upset for an award show that that a lot of people worship are on pause to make sure everyone's included?
Why do I have to die of starvation? Why do I have to die of starvation for you to understand that I'm hungry?
If it can start there,
No.
maybe.
Why do I have to die from starvation just for you to recognize or realize that I'm hungry?
Dude, if you could figure out how to answer that question, that'd be amazing.
And that's my point exactly. They want us to die from starvation. The only time it's going to affect them when some food come off their table. I've been hungry for a long time. So if you're going to shine
Which
a light on
award
it,
show is this?
I can't. I'm about to look it up to find out. That I heard it on the Steve Harvey show this morning. But my thing is this right here: for if I have to die from starvation for you to realize only when you get hungry or some food is off your table, I'm still dead, brother.
Well, isn't that what happened to Jesus?
If you gave me some food back then before I died of starvation, we all could talk now. But don't wait until a piece of chicken is off your table.
Well, I mean, didn't Jesus die for that kind of stuff?
It's the start, and it started all that it takes for change to happen. And if we're going to be upset about how things start, then nothing's going to change. I think that's the point that he's trying to make. He's not trying to make the point that nobody heard one side. It's not about the fact that nobody heard a specific side for however long. I feel like that comes with. I'm not saying you don't have wisdom, because obviously I know you personally, but I'm saying I think that comes with wisdom and knowledge and understanding, like we were talking about yesterday. It doesn't matter how long the problem was happening, as long as the change happens. That's the positivity. So even though, it is unfortunate. Absolutely. It's unfortunate that people don't understand how wrong something is until it's on their side. That is very unfortunate. My point. Nobody's saying that you're wrong. I know, and nobody's saying that you're wrong in your point and feeling that way. But what I feel like a lot of us are trying to say, or what a lot of them were trying to say, was it doesn't matter how long it happened, as long as something is happening now. The whole point of us, of people protesting, the whole point of the fight was to be equal. Are we ever going to be completely equal? Probably not. Nobody's ever going to be equal. Like me and whoever my spouse is going to be. Are we going to be equal? Of course not. There's things that I'm going to do as a woman that he's not going to do as a man, and things he's going to do as a man that I'm not going to do as a woman, just because that's how we roll. There's some men that take the trash out in their house, and there's some women that say they're not going to do it. There's some men that pump gas, and there's some women that say they're not going to do it. But there's also some women that take the trash out in the house, and some men that cook dinner every night. It doesn't matter about the things that you choose. It just matters that you start to try to understand. Even though it is on the unfortunate side that it happens to be them that's on the short end of the stick this time, they're starting to see what we have been going through. They're starting to understand. Now, is there going to be big change? I don't know. It's only an award show, but who says a worldwide award show or a nationwide award show won't start a revolution? It doesn't. It took Martin Luther King was one man, Malcolm X was one man, but we still remember them today. It's all about the change. It's all about the things that you choose to see. And I think because y'all are older, or a lot of people are older, they see, well, it took a lot of time for the change to come, but it doesn't matter how long it took. But you should want the world to be better than when you went through it. So though it may have been hard your whole life, and though it may have been hard for your dad, and though it may have been hard for your grandfather, for your great grandkids, now they're included in an award show. Isn't that something? Isn't that something great? Like how they were saying about rap. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We made rock and roll. We made all that. A lot of people stole our songs to make it theirs, and what could we do? Nothing. But at the end of the day, somebody heard our message. Somebody heard what we had to say. It's not always the who delivers the message, just the fact that it got delivered, that somebody heard it. And I think that's the important part that people are trying to say is like, yeah, that's fine. We know our struggle. We lived it. They didn't live it. We lived it. We know. We're not oblivious to what goes on. And things still go on. But that's not to say that they're not trying to understand it, not that they're on the receiving end. And I think that's what's being misunderstood in the conversation right now.
Look at,
I love what Mary said, Raheem.
Look at, I'm gonna tell you. Let me say this. Then and appreciate it. But look, y'all, if y'all can see me, I'm so proud right now. That's my baby there. That's my baby girl.
Thank
Go
you
ahead,
for giving the words I didn't have.
Help, from Badger's point of view. Badger would understand it more if I said it like this. There are some people that want to hang on to the trauma.
Yeah, and that's
Black
a problem.
people have been traumatized by that, and it's hard for them to let it go. And that's what cripples your growth. Because one, there were huge debates, and you should go back and read those debates and look at them. You may find you can find footage as well now on why integration was so important. They were able to decimate Black communities. Guess why? Because they were all Black. Like Rico's point. Rico's point was excellent. You completely forgot the disparity that was going on with segregation. Segregation was horrible. And for anybody that is Black to say they liked it better then, that's a traumatic response. Yeah, you may have thought that you were better off, but you were still excluded.
Yeah.
See, affirmative action was necessary because of what segregation had did. You couldn't have had access in a segregated society. That's why it had to be dismantled, and we're still doing it today. White-owned racist people now who own businesses, they would rather serve you than go out of business.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Absolutely, because it positively affect their bottom line. We got a couple other callers that just called in. Toya with a T, good morning. How you doing this morning? Toya with a
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Good to have you, sis. Let me ask you the question. We're gonna start here with you. Do you think, from where you're sitting and from your experiences, do you think that integration helped or hurt our community?
Wow. I mean, Jesus. If we look at the proof, like I know a lot of older people who are probably like in their 80s that feel like it was the worst thing that ever happened because we became more dependent on them now. There's no togetherness with us. So I know a lot of old people feel like that's the point when it changed. You know what I'm saying? However, I just don't think that the evidence support the fact that it's integration. They're doing something else. All these crazy Black folk walking around here, that's not normal. They're doing something to us. I don't care what no one says. And it's not integration. Integration doesn't make people have addictions. There's other things they're doing. I don't care what they say. Only the what. See, we don't have the resources that they have. So we can't check our water and see if it's lead poison. That got some of us making these choices and decisions that we're making. We don't have the resources that we can go ahead and test some of the things in the air, some of the things in our stuff. I bet you probably if we did, we would see that the problem with Black people is not integration. It's not because we decided to live happy. All these animals that walk around and live with each other, and you telling me that because we got a lighter skin versus a darker, that's the problem? No. Another distraction. Again, I don't know what they're doing to us. Integration is not the problem. They are the problem. Slavery is the problem. Abuse is the problem. Underpaid wages is the problem. There's a lot of other problems, but you're not going to sit here again, white man. I don't care how much other world you run, and tell me it could be a Black man, it could be whoever man. Tell me no different. You're not going to tell me that the problem with us in America, the disparity between white and Black, is because of integration. It's because of hateration.
That's good.
I have a question for you, because I feel like that the question that you're asking, though it is a very thoughtful question, I feel like it's not. I don't know the word I'm trying to use because I don't want to be offensive. I don't feel like it's an appropriate question. Because I don't know. I feel like in our community, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble if this doesn't sound, but whatever. I feel like in our community, we focus so much on our past or we focus so much on everything that was done wrong to us that we really don't understand. We are actually a very blessed group of people. All of life comes from us. Every part of culture comes from us. Every food that you can think of came from us, whether you put your spin on it or not. Everything comes from us. Everybody knows that. All life comes from us. We are a very blessed group of people, and I feel like we don't dwell enough on the fact that everything about this nation that was good was because we came here. Was it forced? Yes, and that I will not take that. Like, it's not. I'm not saying that we had a beautiful past. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying we don't understand how blessed we are that we could make life better for people that even hate us. We still bless them with just living and just being so influential and being a Black human being. And I don't feel like we address that enough. We choose to address our hardships rather than the fact that this whole country was on our back. The entire country would be nothing if they didn't do what they did. That's the reality of it. Okay. Life would not have been as great for other people had we not been around. So it's like, I feel like we don't really address enough the fact that, like, we are dope. Okay, we are amazing. And we don't think about that or talk about that enough in our community. It's more so like the past and the fact that we're not where we want to be. But it's like, okay, that's fine that we're not where we want to be, because you can always be better. You always should fight to be as equal as the next person, even though nobody's perfect, so nobody's gonna like everything about a certain whoever, But I don't know. I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say, but the best way I can put it is I feel like we don't address the fact that we are absolutely blessed. And we are like ground shakers. We make stuff happen. And everybody knows if anything else, a Black woman's gonna make it happen. If anything else, a Black man's gonna make sure his family is fed. Why is that not something we talk about? Why are we still talking about the separation? Well, we could be talking about our unity, because if we honestly come together, we will make something shake.
Absolutely.
So why not talk about that instead?
Now, I got to get on you for a second. Now, you're my baby. I love you. But I didn't know people still said dope. That we dope.
Oh, I'm not a cringy person. I say what I feel is on my heart.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Dope is still a word.
Dope is still a word. Okay, I'm just wondering. I ain't heard that one in a minute.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir.
My friend has has a company, and his T-shirt is one of those six. The logos is "Being Black is Dope."
Okay.
They got one that says "God is dope" too.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't
These
know.
married,
So,
what the marriages tell you that we are? Now, why you gonna question? These marriages tell us we need to stop focusing on that and focus on how dope we are. There you go. Go and try to take it in the opposite direction. Talk about you.
oh,
What she just say?
hey, that's my baby girl. You know, I'm so proud of her, man. I really am, because she don't, when she say something, she say something. Sometimes she'll sit,
Yeah.
she won't say nothing. She'll be quiet. Now I'm just listening. But when she say something, she say something. And I'm so very proud of her, man. That's my baby there. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I love what she said.
Mm-hmm.
It really knocked the ball out the park, man. I mean, when Cassandra was saying earlier, all the things we embedded, we know of some of the things, but then there are so many more things that was invented that is utilized not only in America but around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard Pete say that about the music industry.
Yes.
We're not outside protesting. And if I mentioned, you heard me mention that about the hip hop genre not even being recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they recognized it, they still didn't even televise who won the award. I mean, they didn't even want to include it as a category, as a genre of music.
Mm-hmm.
But the power, the momentum of hip hop, it grabbed so many people and became so popular that somebody saw that if this trend kept going, we could make a lot of money off of this, because these people doing this and it's just sitting out there mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody doing it and ain't nobody making too much money off of it. It's just a few people. Let's see if we could structure this thing and make it something economical. And they did it. They went ahead and gave it all that respect.
Mm-hmm.
Then the record execs came back and said, well, you know what? We're going to start dictating what type of music they give us.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, what I'm saying is even though we did all this inventing, we still stuck in a mental slavery because we catering to them.
Yeah.
Now we letting them dictate to us what type of music is acceptable in our community when they didn't even like that jungle music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They want it in everything they do, but what I'm saying, now they dictating what's hot. Oh, I don't want to hear that rubbish.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the drugs? Where's the whores? Where's the whopping and dropping it like it's hot?
Mm-hmm.
Look back at it.
Yeah.
My kids like that. Little such and such, and little such and such, and little such and such. None of y'all are grown yet. And we're going to give y'all this. As a matter of fact, if your name ain't got a little in front of it, we need to put a little in front of it. Or young, even though you're 36 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we haven't realized that we control the market, but now we catering to them.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all of this invention, all of this that we created, we still got manipulated. So Toya said something about the word integration. And I think every black person has a confused of what integration means.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Leonard brought up Reconstruction a long time ago. A lot of people overlook that. You never hear people talk about that a whole lot. But Reconstruction was where it was. Where was it? Reconstruct. That means they was ready to go in and dissect this thing, break it down, and fix every little nook and cranny that allowed white supremacy to thrive or oppression to thrive. Then somebody came and struck it down. Now we want to put an end to that. And we wanted to reconstruct it because it was dysfunctional. It had to be reconstructed because somehow people felt it was okay to make people be less than human and work them for free and kill them and feed them to alligators and breed them like dogs.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
Human beings. Somebody felt like that was a good system. And that's what we actually evolved from. How can you be practical? How can you be moral and ethically have any kind of ethics if that's what you evolved from? If you evolved from that and that succeeded, everything else after that is dysfunctional and deviant too. Mm-hmm. So somebody said, well, let's reconstruct this thing because y'all just trying to fix what's going on now, but it ain't going to stop because of the roots. Let's reconstruct it and fix it so we could change what happened at the root, at the source. They stopped and said, well, we'll just integrate y'all into this system that we already created off of y'all back. Mm-hmm. And what we do, we integrated into it. Mm-hmm. And when we integrated into it, we started doing more of their dope. We started having more of their behavior. Actually, our families in our household started looking more like theirs. You start seeing more divorces. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff. My parents was part of that. My parents totally different than my grandparents. But then I had to sit back and think, man. It took me like about 20 years ago. I just sat back, man, and thought about it. I said, well, you know what? my parents were sort of influenced and had access to things that my grandparents didn't have. And when they had access to it, they indulged. And when they indulged, they didn't stop. That disco era gave them unprecedented access, diversity, and integration with white people that they didn't have before. And they ate it up and they ran with it because it was brand new. They had never had it. It was like sugar. It was like crack. This was a whole new lifestyle. Then when the parents were coming back, tell them, hey, man, it's time for you to stop playing. Y'all done went over there and indulged and had a good old time in this lifestyle that we didn't have a chance to indulge in. But now it's time to get back to these kids. Mama, I need you to babysit for me. Daddy, I need you to babysit for me. I got to work. I need 2 jobs. Matter of fact, I'm going to work 2.5. I'm trying to catch up with the Joneses. I think I like this lifestyle that they got, and I don't want to fight it and reconstruct it no more. I want to integrate. So good now we part of this dysfunctional system, and we trying to look for some honor and integrity out of it. It ain't gonna work. Absolutely. We contributed. It was poison from the beginning, and it's still poison. And we trying to make something logical and honorable and ethical out of something that was deviant and terroristic. It was savage. This whole foundation that we were sitting in, that we built up, started from a savage mindset. And it ain't gonna change until we reconstruct it.
Absolutely. We're back to reconstruction again. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Pete, coming to you next. Cassandra, be on standby. We're coming to you after that.
You know, hearing what everybody is saying is a powerful thing, and this is a powerful conversation. Conversations like this tend to move a group, sect, or culture forward in a direction because we're having an honest conversation. Brother Rico is so on point. It is ridiculous how on point he is. And baby girl, Nisi, and everybody is just so on point because the truth is you would not have America at all if it wasn't for the African American. And that's throughout history. We would either be speaking French, German, or Russian. We would either be speaking, my fault, I left one out. We would either be speaking Spanish, French, German, or Russian. If it wasn't specifically for Black soldiers, we tend not to address, which is one of the reasons why integration was approved. Because one of the things that was thrown on the table is that, hold on, America, you abolished slavery 3 times before 1865. You right?
Yes.
Now, most of us, if not all of us, know that for the last 6 or 7 years, you know, I've been blessed with the opportunity to play Dr. King. I've played Malcolm X, and in playing both of those characters came a lot of study. One of the things that always stick out to me that writers never actually write in a play that Malcolm said lets you know just how much of a forward thinker and how visionary he was. Because in terms of the integration aspect of our communities, Malcolm said, I am not with that. I am totally against it, because the minute that we integrate is the minute that they will teach us how to be them and will cease to teach us how to be us.
Wow.
And he was so on point with that. And I studied Dr. King, and Dr. King had several options that I can't go into because I only got 3 minutes. But in studying both men, I came up with my own breakdown of integration, because there's certain things about integration that you must face. One, the narrative was taken captive, because integration just did not mean I want to be able to sit in a coffee shop. I want to be able to shop in a store. I want to be able to use the same water fountain. That was the control of the narrative. Integration meant that I want to be integrated into all aspects of American life. All opportunities need to be fair. But they hijacked that and they put these things like for colored only signs up during the hijacking of it all, just to show that, yeah, we integrated the fountain, or we integrated the Woolworths. So when I did my study, I said, wow, man, hold on. We integrated to assimilate, to then segregate amongst ourselves. And then I asked myself, well, where did that come from? And when you look at the history of the European, then you see the playbook. Because when the king or queen was threatened by a particular European, because maybe he had a following of a city that was financially beneficial to them, instead of killing him, what they would do would be to make him a part of the royal court, or to pay him or give him access to things that only royals could have. Well, why did they do that? That was to control the main power broker of that given area, city, set, or culture. So I started breaking that thing down, man. I'm like, wow. You know, with integration came assimilation. With assimilation then became segregation, because those same power brokers that we had in our Black communities, what happened? They moved out to these royal communities that they had to then fight tooth and nail to even become a member of.
Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. We're here up until 10 o'clock. So we're here up until 10 o'clock. If you want to call in, we love to have you. We just lost Pete. Hopefully Pete gonna call back in. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra?
Yes. And what I said when I was talking, I never wanted to give the idea that we should not have integrated. There was a question posed, and I gave a direct answer. I felt like it hurt us in some ways. I really do.
Yeah.
And I definitely am a person that believes in everybody coming into this melting pot that we have, even though we still are 2021, about to hit 22, we still are not being treated fairly. We are still not allowed to get into certain areas where the real money is. And ain't nobody gonna tell me no different. We are still blocked in a lot of those areas. They'll let us get a little something, but they just let us get so far. Even the few Black billionaires or millionaires that we have, we still have been kept out of a lot that could have made many Black people more successful than they are. And we still have right now today Black people that have great ideas that want to start major businesses and cannot get the funding. I don't care. It's still happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Leonard?
Yes.
What's on your heart, brother? Let's talk.
Nothing too different than what I said before. I'm a very progressive person, and I don't return to bondage. So, it is what it is and what it's going to be. Young Black people will not allow you to be the masters of their fate. And I used to tell people, because I still do a little consulting on the side. So if a person calls me with a great idea, we go through ways to how we're going to make that manifest. And one of the things I tell people, you can be pro-Black as anybody, But don't think that you're going to impress a free man with a slave man's story.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to free people who do what they want, when they want, how they want. They choose what it is, what they would like, not what white folks decide they should have. So that mentality of the whites this, the whites that is kind of great for us because it's really looking real foolish right now. Because people who don't want to do certain things, they don't make those decisions because they're black or white. They make those decisions based on their character.
Mm-hmm.
Which our brother Martin told us of his desire was that one, his children be treated according to their character, not the color of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm preached segregation because he was under Elijah Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
He had to preach segregation.
Mm-hmm.
He had to support that. But now we're saying, young people are saying, it don't even matter to me how you feel. That's how you feel. That may not be how I feel. And because I'm black does not mean that I have to choose what every other black person chooses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I fight for choice. I fight for justice, regardless of color or anything. So if a person comes to me and says, I'm thinking about opening this business, let's look at your market. Who is your audience? Because if you're in business, that's what matters. Your audience.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter how you feel. It's your audience. There are some people who make a great living and they only got one product. Just one, because that product is unique. They created it. Like you said before, how we used to talk about they stole all our. Okay, now what you gonna do? Is you going down there getting your stuff copyrighted? Are you protecting your intellectual property the way you should? Or are you just hoping somebody do you a favor?
Then do you think this whole economic thing, and I want to word this question right, do you think this whole economic thing and people want to quote unquote get the bag has crippled our ethic and morals that people have within themselves, and they so geared toward getting the money, getting that bottom line, and quote unquote getting that bag? Do you think that has crippled a lot of people?
Not so much, not any more than Peter took that silver.
Mm-hmm.
So that lets you know that wanting money and desiring money has nothing to do with race and things of that nature. That's a person's character.
Mm-hmm.
Money pays for what you need, for what you want. It's just a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are certain people who are willing to sell their bodies and everything for it. That has nothing to do with being black or white.
I was on a show.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, give me 1 second. I was at my other location, my old location, and I had a bishop. I'm not gonna call his name. That was on Real Men Being Men with us one night, and this was a bishop. And I asked him the question. I said, "What would you rather have? Would you rather have $1 million or God's favor?" And a lot of people, and as a matter of fact, Leonard, you was on that show that night. And he said, kind of threw me back a little bit. He said, "I'd rather have $1 million." And
yes, indeed.
And I was like, wow. Go. Who wanted to ask?
You had asked another question before that too.
Yeah, I know.
That you were surprised when it comes to what it was. I think you said it was about power or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
More recently.
Mm-hmm. And so
like that, you can long for that feeling that you may feel.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you translate that into something that you can use?
Mm-hmm. But see, my thing is, and I'm so silly. I'm so silly as to believe this, man. I'd rather have, $1 million. They say $1 million or God's favor. Give me God's favor, man. Give me God's favor. Because I think that will open up.
That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
It's cool to have, for discussion purposes,
mm-hmm.
and it's really a straw type situation.
Mm-hmm.
However, you would have to have some type of system related to God's favor that you believe.
See, and my thing is, I'm gonna go to somebody wanted to say something. I want to come to them right now, but my thing is this right here. I believe, and this just me, everybody believe the way they want to believe, and that's fine. But my thing is, I believe that if I had God's favor, I can go into doors that money would never open for me. things that happened to me that that money would never buy. Say it again.
But money is still going to be transacted.
True. But my thing is right. Me personally, I'm just saying for me, give me God's favor. Cassandra, was that you wanted to say something?
Yeah. I just have a question, and this can be to anybody on the panel.
Okay.
As a Black person, and I deal with a lot of Black, mainly women entrepreneurs, are trying to that have amazing ideas, have great business plans, have gotten all the counseling, have gotten all that, have gone to banks trying to get money, and were turned down repeatedly with everything in place. I mean, everything tight.
Mm-hmm.
So you telling, and Leonard, I'm gonna ask you this question. I guess I pointed at you. So you mean to tell me that they've done something wrong, and it's because of, ain't nobody gonna tell me it's not, because people do not give loans, and it's been proven to Black businesses at the rate that they do white businesses. So what do we do under those circumstances? I got everything in line. I did everything I was supposed to do. What do I do then after I go and try to get the money to implement my plan? Where do I go from there? I'm just asking a question.
What a lot of people have, like with certain issues, people have said that they had to, I hear people who have had the same situation said, you know what, I went to 50 banks. Now, one, because I throw a lot of shade at some brothers that did the Black bank. Go over there and see if you can get it. You'll find out that being Black ain't got nothing to do with it. Whereas before, there may be, if there's a white racist loan officer, you wouldn't expect him to give you that loan. So they shouldn't have white racist loan officers in Black-owned banks. So Black people that got it all together should be able to walk into that Black bank, get that loan, and walk out.
How do you know he's a white racist loan officer?
Well, because one, that's where the data is. Racist white banks discriminated against Blacks, and that's why they couldn't get loans. That's the fact of the matter. But once again, racism.
But see,
racism.
In order to get that data, you have to have so many people that's been turned down, and so that's the unfortunate part right there. We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good morning. This is Bishop.
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing this morning?
Man, no bless.
I know
you and everyone else.
Hey, doing good, brother. How you been listening in towards this morning?
For the past 5 minutes.
What's on your heart behind this, man? And let me ask you this question, Bishop. Did integration? Do you think, from your estimation, do you think integration helped or hurt the Black community?
I think integration helped the Black community more so than being segregated. Now, the qualities that we expect and desire to have has not really been proven through it, as some would say, because Blacks are still Black, and they're still classified as a third and fourth rate citizen in this country. But integration has done a little bit better for us as opposed to being segregated.
Okay. What are some of those pros?
We get to use the same bathroom.
Wow.
We can bring out the same fountain. We get the same kind of affirmative action so that they can put at least one or two token Blacks into a position of power or recognition. Yes, they may be there, but we know who really pushed the pencils. But it did open up a door for a greater opportunity for us to be able to advance within our own selves. And as it relates, you don't get the crab mentality. When you get up, you have to pull somebody up, and then you have to establish and create something that's going to be beneficial to us as a race of people.
Okay. Toy, you want to see? What did you say to that? What's on your heart? Toy, you there? Toy with a T. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I think people have an illusion of many different ways they view integration. But I'm going to give you an example of what happened with integration. So we talked about the stores and the amusement parks. They finally started letting black people come in the store. They seen the black people, and these black people were euphoric. They ain't never seen such a nice store. Some of the things that were available. They observed us. See, white people observed us for a long time. They watched how we responded to everything they put on us. They said, well, we threw that Reconstruction out the window, but here come integration. Come on in the store. Look at them, y'all. The stuff that we take for granted, look how they value it. The eyes lit up like they just ate a whole bag of sugar. I bet we could sell it to them, and they start asking for, hey, wait, put that down. You got to pay for that. You ain't got enough money? Okay, you got enough money. I bet we could up the price on them. But Dad, it costs so-and-so. Nope. You tell them $3 more. They don't know. Then all of a sudden you find out that you've been getting charged more just to come shop in their stores, just to get the things that they took for granted and don't value as much. We value it. They made it more restrictive. They created another obstacle. Once we integrated, they said, well, we still going to make it a little bit harder and make it more expensive for y'all to play. You're going to have to pay to play a little bit more. So what I'm trying to say is we got two sets of rules still. Mm-hmm. People didn't look at integration the right way. If they'd have looked at it with the mindset of infiltrating, they could have went in and did everything they needed to do, like the Amish, and then came on back to our community with a strategy and a plan to sort of go along the line still of Reconstruction instead of just conforming and integrating and joining in. See, we in this beat, if you can't beat them, join them mindset. Mm-hmm. That's really what's going on. If you can't beat them, join them. So now our household is just like theirs. Ain't that something? You ain't got two parents in the household no more. Ain't that great? We want to make America great again. Well, that's been America, white America, before they integrated. When segregation was around, see, mentally, integration did bad for us. Financially, superficially, access to material things, integration was great. Mm-hmm. They even got a black man to be the head of the Republican Party at one point in time. With the name Richard Steele. Mm-hmm. He was still a do boy. But don't America look great to have a black man as the head Republican or the Republican convention or whatever? So, we have to understand January 6th, the insurrectionists, and what happened in Michigan, and understand that these people still live by a separate code than we live by, but we feel like we're fully integrated and everything is equal. We don't have the mindset of the Amish. Mm-hmm. We want to participate and indulge in everything that they have to offer. Not realizing that if we did a January 6th, we probably would have died up there that day.
Exactly.
Those people still not coming to court. They're in contempt. Right now, people holding themselves in contempt. Police officers that work with the Capitol Police was in on it, letting the people in. Mm-hmm. They just threw everything that America stood for out the window, everything they believed in. Mm-hmm. And all those people, they did the same thing that everybody did in Wilmington, North Carolina in 1898. Mm-hmm. That was an insurrection. And they wanted to overturn what Reconstruction built. And now once again, they're still going to overturn what the government has built when they get ready, but we can't do that. So, we're integrated in that double standard system.
Absolutely.
Instead of infiltrating it and trying to get what we can out of it.
Get there. Toy, you want to take you with us? Toy, you back with us? Badger, talk to me, brother.
Man. See, this is a tough one for me. Mm-hmm. Because growing up where I did, I guess I was kind of lucky. Because there wasn't really a whole lot of that separation, racist nonsense. You were treated by how you act and how you treated others. And that's what people, and it didn't matter what color you were. So it wasn't until I moved to the cities that I started experiencing and learning about racism. and all that kind of stuff. So in some ways, I think there was definitely a lot of good things that happened.
Mm-hmm. Badger, you there?
Yeah, I'm looking for words. Or doing my best to think about words.
Mm-hmm.
Well, boiling down, looking at my experiences too, it can be very eye-opening in general,
Mm-hmm.
because depending on where you grow up, you're going to have a different perspective on topics like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, I grew up, in a nutshell, we're all equal. We're all the same. Except for our ancestors. So our ancestors come from a different place. That's about the only difference, and it has nothing to do with how we should treat one another.
Mm-hmm.
So now, don't get that wrong. I was taught that, because being poor and white, you've heard me talk about it before. I'm not going to have the same access other people may, from different races.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't let that control me. So even though the mentality was we're supposed to be equal, I was pretty much taught that the government doesn't want us to be equal. That even though, we can use the same bathrooms and all these kinds of things or go to the same schools, they don't want us to be one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, walk side by side, because the people have the power. It just takes us getting past all these illusions and distractions to realize that.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Let me see where we're gonna go now. Let's go back to Cassandra. Cassandra, you there?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Mary, coming to you next. What's on your heart?
I mean, Badger said something that makes a lot of sense to I when okay, yeah, I live Black trauma. I have lived Black trauma when it comes to white people. I've had a white man call me a nigger bitch and point a sawed-off shotgun at me. I've had Ku Klux Klan men, and try to actually physically attack me on my property, on where I live. So for me, it's different from what Leonard have experienced, what some, Toya, some of y'all may not have experienced. I've experienced that. So for me, yeah, I'm traumatized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And though I fight hard every day for justice and equality for everybody around me, everybody.
Yes.
I've been traumatized, and that has affected the way that I look at different things when it comes to us not being able to get the same benefits in this country of other people. And it bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts me as a Black woman. It hurts me. So yeah, I totally agree with Badger on that point. Our viewpoints, and that's what is so great about this show. I don't have to have the same perspective on anything that anybody on the show has.
Absolutely.
I'm an individual with my own experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the things that I bring to the table. Somebody else has had totally different experiences. They'll learn from their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I am a traumatized Black woman in the United States in 2021, and I live that reality every day.
Wow, that's good. That's real. That's absolutely real. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Phone lines are open. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Mary, what's on your heart?
I'm just listening.
Okay. I told y'all sometimes she'll say I'm just listening, but other times she'll break out something and you'll be like, what the what? Bishop, talk to me, Bishop. What's on your heart, brother?
I'm gonna tell you, and I have to agree with Cassandra when she was speaking. And I was reading on the integration as it relates today. And one of the polls, they was asking several whites, about 85%, how would they feel living in a community with all whites or all black? It really doesn't matter what the color of the individuals are in my community. And so that's interesting to read that they would say that. But hindsight is, if you're looking at regentrification, and if you go into the Grant Park area, they completely revamping that entire area, putting the belt line through there. And blacks have started selling their houses, and I'm telling you, they're selling their houses for pennies. But then when the whites come in and they jack the price up $300,000 and $400,000, $500,000, well, with some of these people can't afford it, but they sold their houses for little or nothing. Now it's hard for a black to come back into the area unless he's considered classified as wealthy. So I can say it from my perspective, dealing with law, and then my son, former police officer himself, we're just talking about the laws that are on the book, but how they apply differently. Integration is good, but you're gonna always have injustice. And I think that's one of the things we need to pay attention to, not so much about the integration of segregation, but the injustice that's being demonstrated on, men of color, men and women of color. And so that's all I got to say about that right now.
Good deal. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
I understand exactly where Cassandra is. Because although I'm a couple years younger than her, I know what it's like for these people to burn a cross in your yard. I know what it's like for that white supremacist to stick that 357 in your mouth in hopes that somebody do something that warrants him to squeeze the trigger. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, and when we think in terms of integration, I mean, I feel where Rico coming from. We talking about integration that never was. We have never truly been integrated. The only reason we was integrated was to be infiltrated.
Come on.
The only reason we was truly integrated was to gain access to our capital.
Back on economics.
And I'm talking about our dollars.
Yeah, back on economics. Absolutely.
The only reason, let me tell you how important economics is in this thing that folks never talk about, even though quote unquote he was a brother. The only reason slavery was abolished in 1865, the only reason the Emancipation Proclamation went as far as it went, is because Lincoln paid 2 representatives of Maryland not to secede. Literally, the government paid them not to succeed. It wasn't that we don't want to succeed because, we believe that slaves should be free. If you read the Emancipation Proclamation, he tell you, in the subparagraph, he tell you, if it is to free the slaves to keep the Union together, I will do so. If it is not to free the slaves to keep the Union together, I will do that also. It was all economics. And the central power base of the economical system in this country has always been and always will be its Black and brown community. That is a given. Back then, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had what is called human capital. We could do the things that certain other cultures couldn't do. So I hear Cassandra and I feel her pain.
Mm-hmm.
But man, we gotta call a spade, man. Like the whole idea of integration, I think as a community, we lose sight of what real integration looked like.
Good deal.
Or what the real fight was.
Mm-hmm.
And because we have lost sight of what the real fight was, we think in terms of integration on a very, very marginal level. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody. I'm just saying, I think we're not looking at the big picture. Leonard's from Saginaw, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Leonard probably knows this. Raheem, do you know what was considered at one point the greatest market, one of the greatest markets in the Midwest? Did you know it was in Michigan?
Didn't know that.
Did you know that? It was a small town called Idlewild, Michigan.
I heard of Idlewild. Mm-hmm.
Idlewild was black folks in the Midwest. It was black folks' version of Vegas and Atlantic City all rolled up into one.
Mm-hmm.
And they was killing. And them folk saw, okay, that money over there, we got to do something to destroy that. If we can't get none of it, we got to destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing they did in Tulsa. Same thing they did in what is it called? Oh my God, it escapes me, in Florida. Deadwood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Rosewood. Yeah. Rosewood. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Same thing they did in Charleston, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the movie The Patriot, I'll end with this. If you watch the movie The Patriot, when what is considered the American patriot, when those folks are trying to hunt him down, when Cornwallis is trying to hunt him down, where does he retreat to? Waterloo, James, Johns Island, Gullah Island, all of that was black owned and black run.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good. You got to keep it moving, Kurt. Hold on for a second. Let me pull some more people into the conversation. Rico, talk to me, brother. Kurt, Leonard, coming to you next. Rico, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I just hung up by accident, man. I'm along the lines with Cassandra. And, I was glad Badger went there because the first thing I thought, and he came after me. And, sometimes it's funny, man. You could think of something to say after you finish talking, and what you were saying when you were talking ain't really what you want to say. It ain't come out the right way.
Absolutely.
But he said that about being in different regions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about that. Everybody grew up in a different region, and everybody's atmosphere and environment was different. So the experience was different.
Mm-hmm.
Then Cassandra came on, man, and I felt like I was hearing myself talk.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can remember being blindsided just by how extreme racism was. See, I had some type of awareness being raised up by parents in the South and by grandparents that would tell you what has gone on or what you should or should not do to be safe, or hearing old story. But then you start thinking to yourself, well, nah, that ain't going on today.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1980. This ain't going on today. But then all of a sudden, I had that 357 put in my face, and I was being courteous, believing in the American dream, the American way, thinking the sky's the limit. I'm looking at the Jeffersons and looking at these TV shows, and I'm like, you know what, man? There's slightly a little racism going on, but, we ain't got nothing to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
I had that book put in my face. And the first thing I thought, I'm going to say the first thing that came to my mind was every black person that was in that type of situation and with nobody around.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I was blindsided because I wasn't expecting it. I was being courteous in so many different instances where racism or some racist white people did something to me. I was blindsided, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point in time, I was wanting to think that was something I didn't have to worry about.
Yeah.
But life told me, yep, you got to worry about it. They everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who they are. See, that one guy that pulled that gun on me, a 357, like Curtis, told me he felt like calling me a nigga, so he just said it. And he was going to shoot me in my head for asking him, did you just call me a nigga?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know why. I knew he called me one when I seen he had the gun pulled. I just want to know why you coming there, because I felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can shoot me in front of my school that I graduated from. But I'm going to tell you what the other side about that was he was a school teacher from the school in the next city over that was 85% black.
Mm. Wow.
Taught auto body.
Mm.
So I talked to some of the guys that went to Anderson because that's where I came from. I left a majority black school and went to a majority white school. And I asked him about this man. Oh, he cool, man. He cool, man. Mr. Wilkerson let us do everything we want to do. Them boys signing up for auto body and coming in there and don't know how to sand down a bumper.
Mm-hmm.
They just in there having fun, playing paper football and wrestling, having a good old time like they was in jail, and he was letting them act like monkeys. And so they liked this class because he just let them pass. And it was only a few of them in there that really learned how to do some auto body. He would teach them if they wanted to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But it was to me, it was like out of order. I'm like, well, how you gonna teach at a black school? But then here I am being courteous, yielding my right away to let you get by. You call me a nigga for no reason and put a 357 in my face. It's 17 years old, 18.
Wow.
Valentine's Day, 1991. At 3:05 p.m. So I mean, you know, I was blindsided. So you know, we don't know who that is. We don't know if it's the bank president, the teacher. We don't know who that person is that's gonna blindside us with that. But we still have to always understand the true reality of integration.
Yeah.
This country, regardless of what we invented, we still catering to them to enjoy those inventions equally, freely, and safely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This country became what it was off the blacks of us, free labor, no kind of integrity or morale, became the most powerful country on the planet, right?
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
That was white superiority. Now, Reconstruction wanted to get rid of white superiority, and that white privilege and entitlement said, nah, I like the benefits of being white. I think we need to try integration. And guess what we jumped head first into? Like I said, it helped us financially, so we think economically, but we integrated into white supremacy, white superiority. How's that going to work? That is the true reality of what we integrated into. If you really know your history, and you start looking at what's going on, and you think about Reconstruction and how it died, and then Jim Crow and segregation came along, then they said, well, you know what? We're going to keep this system in place. We're going to integrate y'all into it. Well, woo, open up the school doors and the clubs, baby. Here we come. And we're going to give you all our money because we want to be a part of this great white superiority system that you have created.
Wow.
We want to integrate into that. That's what that is our reality. And some people don't want to admit it because they're doing too good.
Exactly. Leonard?
What's up?
What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Oh, I'm just listening. Like I say, it's valuable to understand everybody's story because their story belongs to them. Now, personally, I've had more black people pull guns on me than white folks. I have a partner, Reverend Slaughter, whom I love to work with. But we have some very different views because of the issue. Like when I said it with Badger. There are some black people who respond to this world from a trauma brain because they have experienced trauma. And we have to address that trauma appropriately. But what those black people have to realize is that everybody has not experienced that. It's like I said before, I don't know nothing about living in a segregated society. I was raised, like what my man said, in Saginaw, Michigan. White folks stayed right across the street from us, what have you. It wasn't like we was rich. According to the statistics, we all was poor because of where we live. So it is your perception that may make you have a different opinion about integration. If you lived back then when you believed and you felt like you had everything or whatever, great. But everybody doesn't have that experience. So we have to address it appropriately. There are some you can't if you ain't sick, there's nothing to heal.
And what young people are telling you right now, we ain't sick. We doing what we want to do.
Leonard, do you think
some of y'all may hate the fact that your young people are doing these things?
Do you think there's a possibility, Leonard? Do you think there's a possibility that they could be living and I'm just a question asker, living in a false sense of a false sense of reality, and thinking that is more cold on y'all right now, and everything is so much better?
No, not at all. They living their best life. That's why they call it that. Just because you don't think it's a good life does not mean it's not a good life for them.
Okay.
So yeah, you may not want to hear the music that they listen to, but you shouldn't say that we're gonna take it away from them. See, that's very communistic. And I love The Nation, right? But The Nation just recently came out expressing this very issue about you got to think of the big picture. It ain't gonna be all blacks be Muslim. It's not gonna happen. Because we don't all have to be Muslim. I don't sit and hate on a Christian with my situation. I was born and raised Christian. Learned that I am actually Muslim. Because that's what I choose. I can't hate on another person because they choose different, or say that they're living less than their best life simply because I don't choose to live it. And big shout out to my man Rico was saying when we were talking about hip hop. Hip hop is the prime example of the real revolution. Because it was black young men taking control of their gifts and talents.
Absolutely.
Direct shout out to DJ Will Smith, Fresh Prince, and DJ Jazzy Jeff, who won the first one. So the younger people see black people doing whatever it is they want to do, how they want to do it. Freedom beyond anything that some of you would have ever believed.
Good deal. Hey, y'all hope y'all doing the tour drive this year?
The Kente Claus thing.
What to get a gifts to the community.
Yeah, they always do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They always do that.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Christmas giveaway.
Yes, sir.
Bishop.
Go ahead, Bat. You got some on your heart? Go ahead.
Hearing Leonard talk about the trauma stuff, we did that on my segment last week, and it's so hard to not have that as a topic for my show every week, because to me that is the biggest problem we deal with in our communities. People holding on to the past, and when there's a little bit of hope of a little bit of change, it's ignored because of people holding on to this trauma and stuff, because it's something that we don't talk about as communities, that hey, we're so used to being treated wrong that's all we know.
Hey Ryan, can I say something after him?
Yes. I want to get the badge, but go ahead, give me your quick version, brother. Curtis? Go ahead, give me your quick version. I want to get back to Badger. To Bishop.
No, I was wanting to wait until he finished, because what I'm going to say directly correlates with what he's saying right now.
Okay, go ahead.
But if you want me to go, then if you want me to go, then I'm going to say this. I hear folks say exactly what Brother Badge is saying, and I can respect that. I respect it with every fiber of my being. The problem is there has never really been any true resolve for the black and brown person in the American community. There's never really been any resolve. That's why folks continue to speak on what has happened, because there has never been any resolve. When you look at the Jewish community after World War II, the Jews still to this day get resolved consistently. Every 3 to 4 years, they meet to tell the German government, okay, the money that you have given this year is enough. Or no, given this situation, circumstances, inflation, and this, that, and the third, you must give more because of what they took from that Jewish community, the intellectual capital, the human capital, the property, the tangible capital. These people owned Rembrandt paintings, originals that they took, the gold that they took out of these people's mouths, the silver that they took out of these people's mouths, the silver, even down to the silverware. A lot of us don't know. Do you know that there was a train car at one point that had over 85 cars connected to it? Guess what it was full of, Raheem?
What's that?
Silverware. Gold and silver, silverware, eating utensils that they took from these people. They completely annihilated these people's wealth and these people's ability to realistically gain wealth. Thanks to God, these people have been blessed with the ability to understand currency. It's a gift for them. So I understand exactly where Badge is going, and I really understand where our younger community is going with saying that. But I also have to interject and say, hey, has there truly been any resolve given or offered truly and genuinely to a community that has been so denigrated and dismissed?
No. The answer to that question is no.
I've got to add something to this.
Okay, hurry up, man. I gotta keep my rotation. Y'all playing tennis right now. We can't let y'all do that. Go ahead, finish your thought.
You know, talk to me, because of my heritage and the things that I've seen. What resolve do you want? Do you want the same resolve that happened to Native Americans? Because they don't have it good at all. So to me, and a lot of the younger people I talk with all the time, just seeing a little bit of change one step at a time is better than nothing at all.
Okay. Granted. Let me go to Bishop. Bishop, what's on your heart?
Well, I tell you, they're saying the mouthful and like things about y'all playing tennis, what you said. But they're trying to get a point across and get something out that they feel is so important, and I think it is important to hear. And the opinions as it relates, man. Speaking from a real perspective, when Cassandra said, in today's time, someone called her the N-word, put a gun in her face, and these are some of the challenges that we face. You were talking about integration as itself, but areas of life, because some people's mindsets are still so convoluted and well dated back, that they have not been able to move forward mentally, thinking that all men are created equal. Out of one blood, God made all nations of men to dwell upon the face of the earth. So the color of your skin should not identify you as a person's character. And that's one of the things Dr. King said: don't judge a man by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character.
Absolutely.
So when we run into individuals got a character list that don't have enough understanding or perception to accept a man or a woman for who they are, regardless to the race, creed, or religion, those individuals' minds is not matriculated to the point of being able to understand and comprehend that all of us come from the dirt and all of us go back to the dirt. So integration, again, for me, was good, but the perils that we still face are not good. That's what I'm addressing as it relates to this conversation.
Good deal. Cassandra, what's on your heart, sis?
When I talk about, like I said, what was my trauma, what I went through, I'm not looking for pity. I'm not sitting around not doing anything because I was traumatized by these people. That is a part of what drives my activism and my advocacy. So I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, because I took and I take the pain that I felt, and I've used that. I've turned it and I've used it for good. So I don't, I'm not sitting around moping and saying, "Oh Lord, them white people, they did me so bad. They pointed their gun." I don't do that.
Yeah.
I turned that pain into power, my power. I back my power from what they tried to do to me. And I never even got justice because a hurricane came through Hugo in 1990, and all of Charleston was messed up.
Yes.
And they canceled, of course, all the court cases and everything, and they never came back to that court case. So that was an unresolved issue for me for years. So I had to let God heal me and allow me to turn all of that hurt into something positive. And that's what I did. So I'm never going to deny my trauma. It was me that went through that.
Yeah.
It was me that was tormented by those men. It was me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my truth.
That's good. That's good. Toya with a T, are you back with us yet? Toya with a T, you there? About to say it to you. Wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Let me see who we got here. Let's go back to let's go back to Leonard. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, I just wanted to say that was exactly, Miss Cassandra said exactly what I was saying. And until, like, say, for instance, sometimes we use these pronouns too loosely. We ain't always we. And that's what the problem. There will always be people that, one, like, say, for instance, I go to therapy for issues that I have. That don't mean that Raheem got those issues. I look like a fool going to therapy to talk about Raheem's life.
Yeah.
So in this movement, we are really accentuating and trying to get people to understand how important it is that you that you practice self-care to address these issues that you may have. Just like Miss Cassandra. I'm into activism because of what happened to me. And not being able to afford to file charges against a company because of racism and sexism, for a matter of fact. So each person's response is going to be different.
Yes.
And to collectively lump us together just because we Black does us a great disservice. Because it is impossible for everyone to feel the same way about everything.
Absolutely.
And we have to be more considerate of people. As much as I love Islam, I wouldn't want to live in a place that made it criminal to be a Christian.
Yeah.
You can hate America all you want, but subtract the racism from it. America is a great idea. Minus racism. Don't hate America because of that. Change that. And we have done a lot to get so far because other people, we have civilizations or certain people who have been wiped off this planet for this issue. Whether you choose, like, say, for instance, people say integration is bad. But what about the civilizations we've lost who wasn't able to take advantage of the advancements in healthcare that we have? And now they're all dead.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, and I'm gonna tell you something. Me personally, man, I love a good gumbo, good seafood gumbo.
Yeah,
love it, man, love it. You know, that's, man. Look here, I'm good on that. It's excellent, but I don't think I would like it too much if somebody took a spoonful of Clorox and put inside of it.
No, you wouldn't.
No, and
it wouldn't matter it wouldn't matter what color you were either.
No, it does not matter. It does not matter. But I'm saying specifically about me, I love a good gumbo, a good seafood gumbo. Man, that's one of the best meals you can get. But when you pour, and I'm equating that to what you said about America. America is great if you take the racism out. It's almost like having a great bowl of gumbo and somebody pouring the Clorox or alcohol or something inside of it, rubbing alcohol inside of it. Man, it's some
They,
Right.
they spike the punch. They spike the punch.
yeah.
And it's so funny to look at when you're trying to compare it. Okay, we say the black man invented the traffic light, but guess what? You got black kids inventing apps.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't downplay your people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother.
You know, I think sometimes when we group this thing together, it's because we're trying to let everybody know within our community of the potential that's out there, the potential, the atmosphere that exists. See, one thing about experience, you know, you're really not supposed to dictate or judge how you feel about something based off somebody else's experience. But at the same time, we learn from our parents' experience and our grandparents' experience, and they come back and they instill values and things into us so we can surpass them, or so we don't have to make the same mistakes. We don't always have to learn from our own experiences.
Yeah.
So I would prefer for a black person that has never experienced some of the racism that I have to at least know that it's a possibility that he may have to. Compared to somebody that hasn't experienced that, coming back telling me, that don't exist no more. I ain't never had to deal with that. Because what's going to happen when you do have to deal with it?
Yep.
What's going to happen, Mr. Governor of California? He up there arguing now. He trying to argue that his wife was stereotyped and targeted because of the color of her skin. But this is the last argument I ain't gonna say the last. This is probably the first time he's even taken that stance that atmosphere exists.
Yep.
I ain't gonna even say taking a stance, acknowledge it. See, some people know it exists. They just don't want to acknowledge it or bring it up because it might rub some people that they rubbing shoulders with the wrong way.
Exactly.
Can't talk about that. Yeah, it exists, but it ain't affecting me.
It's not my
But
problem.
then all of a sudden, when you want to climb that ladder and somebody decide they want to put their foot on your throat or they want to come burn your house down, steal your newspaper, sabotage you, take pictures of you, what they call it, Photoshop, bribe you, when they want to do all these different things to try to get you to stop doing what you're doing or to keep you down and hold you back. Now all of a sudden you 60-some years old and you screaming racism. You're a Republican though.
Exactly.
Republican governor that probably didn't believe in affirmative action. He has so many arguments, don't like to be grouped together with the rest of them. That ain't his experience. It wasn't at first. Now it is. He was like a whole fool because he thought he had made it. He thought he didn't have to deal with that. And being that he had never experienced that, all them other people traumatized. They need to get over that.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Governor, you get over it. Tell your wife to crank that car up and drive back down that road again and do the same thing again and suck it up.
Exactly.
And with that being said, if you like to see today's show and if you missed today's broadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on www.dkomediagroup.com.
Good deal. Good deal. We're about to get out of here, man. Mary, are you still with us?
I'm still here.
As a whole, are we healed, or are we still laying on that sick bed?
I think we're all still working on healing because everybody has their own personal stuff going on. So united, it's only right that we would have things going on too.
That's good. That's good. Cassandra, are we healed?
No, we're not. I mean, some of us may be. So, some people are there. I'm not, and I think a lot of people are not.
Good deal.
Because there are constantly things going on around us that may traumatize us.
Absolutely.
And we're pressing toward that healing.
Badger, are we healed?
Yeah. What were you asking? Sorry.
Are we healed, or are we still laying on that sick bed?
Working towards healing is my hope. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that seems like we are healing, but it's taking me time. I mean, it's taking people time.
Yeah.
Sorry. A lot of stuff going on this morning.
Yeah, you good to go. You good to go. Bishop, are we healed?
We are healed by the wound
Oh, Lord
in
Jesus.
his side.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Leonard, do something about your brother, man. Leonard, do something about your brother. I don't know what's going on with him this morning, man.
I'm not gonna let you talk about the good bishop. I'm not gonna do it.
Look at the good bishop need to stop singing, man. The bishop need to bishop and stop singing. Look, you tell the bishop
is my hero. I'm not gonna let you talk about it like that.
Well, listen, I need you to relay this message, man. Tell the bishop, tell him singing and his thing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, look here. I ain't saying. I'm just saying. Toy, you want to tell you back with us? Rico, are we healed, brother?
We are healing. We're changing our diet and all our behavior. Our diet, chitlins.
Exactly.
Chitlins. That's our diet. That's how we healing. We healing with chitlins. We becoming greater and greater and greater by eating more and more chitlins.
Lord, my chitlins.
we still partaking, man. You know, some things we think we're healing, and we are. Some things we are. Some ways we are. But I wish that some of us would go back and look at the Amish community.
Yeah.
And look at how they behave and how they exist, what they value, see how they pick and choose what they participate in when it comes to this American society, and then ask ourselves, are we truly healing? We probably need to go back to a reconstruction if we want to truly heal.
Exactly. Curtis, what do you say to that, brother? Are we healed or are we still laying on that sick bed? Kurt, you there?
No, we healing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. We healing. Okay. And the younger generation is pushing it. It ain't the older generation that's pushing it. It's the younger generation that's pushing it. You know, so we healing, but it's going to take time. We've been oppressed for over 500 years.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. You can't have an oppression over 500 years and expect for that thing to go away in 20 years. You've been in that state for over 500. So it's coming, though. God knows his people.
We also gotta, you know, first you gotta start healing them bed wounds and laying in that bed for so long, man. Them bed sores, ain't that what they call it? Bed sores. Oh, it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot going on, brother.
And God knows his people. In my honest opinion, I'll just say this. In my honest opinion, man, everything we're going through right now is because God is not pleased with the way man has been treating his people.
Good deal.
God ain't pleased with it. I'm trying to tell y'all.
Hey, look here.
I'm trying to say it.
All right, that's something coming out in you, brother. There's something coming out in you. Let me
hey, look, we healing, and Dr. Dre is the doctor, Cardi B is the nurse.
Lord. Let me see who am I go to this morning. Let me go to a bishop. Pray us out, sir.
Okay. Righteous Father, your holy name, Christ Jesus, our Lord, we come before you this blessed day. Thank you, Lord, for last night's rest. This morning's rise and recent activities of our land. We pray, Father God, if you will continue to touch the hearts and minds of men and women across the world, put in love where there is hate, put in forgiveness, Lord God, where there is contention. We ask, Lord God, for the best DK Media Group and the associates, what's the vision that Raheem has, Lord God, and allow it to come to fruition as you lead and guide and instruct him, Lord God, in the things he needs to do. Lord God, we ask also, Father God, as we move forward, bless and keep us, Lord God, from this vicious disease that's traveling the world, a pandemic, Father God, and allow us to stay strong and stay sheltered and use good judgment as we move forward. In your name, Christ Jesus, our Lord, we pray. Amen.
Amen. See, Bishop. See, Bishop, you're so much better when it comes to Bishop. And man, stop trying to sing, brother. You know that. No.
Man, you know, this world has been full of you know, people that don't understand good talent. I ain't gonna say haters, but I'm gonna
say okay, that's what you call it.
Haters.
Okay, all right. I take that one. But truth of the matter, brother, you can't sing. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, truth of the matter, brother, you can't sing now. You know
man, do you not know I sung on a professional level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Look,
Stop it.
look
Hey,
at yeah.
Yeah, tell me stop it, Leonard. You know what?
Look here, Cole. You got look here. I'm gonna have to stop it because we got Bishop on my. He was singing professional, man, and I know good doggone well.
Man, I sung professionally, man. I
Oh,
stood
Lord.
in front of a mirror with a microphone, and I was doing it professionally.
See there, that's professional right there.
Look.
Well, if you did it in the shower, you would did better with the acoustics.
Oh yeah, the acoustics. Yeah, the acoustics are better in the shower.
Look at that. It was an audience of two, him and the person in the mirror. Listen, I want to take it to the man in the mirror.
Well, Raheem, guys, can you all please pray for Robin South? She's in the hospital with COVID and double pneumonia.
Oh my Lord!
She was with us. She used to be on panel with us
when we first started.
When we first started. When we first started. Yeah.
Wow.
So I ask you to just pray for her. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cassandra, I'm gonna swing it right back to you, and I want you to say a prayer for all of us right now, man, for our sister, man. Can you do that?
Yes, Father, we just thank you right now for our sister in Christ, Robin South. We ask you to touch her from the top of her head to the soles of her feet. God, we speak to every part of her body, every muscle, every blood vessel. God, we just ask you to touch her from the top of her head to the soles of her feet. Send ministering angels to encamp all around her. We speak to her kidney to function properly. We speak to the pneumonia. We speak to the COVID. God, we command every infirmity to be removed from this woman of God's body. And we thank you for it right now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I didn't know that. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you after we get off, Cassandra.
Okay.
I'm gonna call you.
Okay.
It is now. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:07. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you'll never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. You get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please be blessed.